As you know, I've been weighing in on the Tammy Mack panel that happened on Fox Soul between Cynthia G and Dr. Umar Johnson largely, but my focus today is on author and activist Hope Giselle. Now, she is a very attractive and very bright young lady, and I want to play certain things that I do agree on and certain things I believe that she's completely delusional on. But I first want to get her conversation on when she holds black men accountable for the lack of effort that we are doing in the black community. A lot of this that I actually believe is true. So I want to play that first part of the clip and deal with that.
I mean, the fact of the lack of elevation and evolution that we see in these arguments are my biggest issue. Once again, we're back in the 1960s when we should be having, like Sin just said, a current conversation. Currently, Black men are not being held at the fire and said that if you don't provide this, or if you don't show up in this way, we're going to do X, Y, and Z to your family. Y'all just are not showing up. And then when you're asked to be held accountable to these things, you say things like, well, back in this time, and when we tried to do this back in a couple of years ago, half of y'all weren't even around when those things were, put into action. And then when you found out about them, instead of bringing them back to the forefront to see if they would work for you in this day and age, you just talk about what didn't work in the back, on the back end of things. I think that a lot of the times you all find it a lot easier to gaslight us into believing that we're the problem so that you can have more time to figure out what the solution is, but that's not the solution anymore. We figured out that that doesn't work, and you trying to buy time in the system is not going to help anybody, and especially not the Black communities that you say that you love.
Okay. So there is some honesty here, all right? And despite who rears Black men to be where they are, we have to have ownership as men of, are we doing what we need to do to be successful or not? Still ownership on us, right? And we have not progressed to where we need to be. But here is where I believe her argument is going to fail. Let's play this second clip here of what she had to say, and then I'll come in and weigh in on that.
Most definitely, I would be ignorant to say that they haven't, right? But I think that what we're failing to realize is that when we have this conversation about what Black men have done, the consequences are usually because of white supremacy and the gaze of white folks on us are that the Black men are then taken away, and the Black women have to then sustain those things. To say that Black women are unappreciative of that, it would be, I think that is the dishonesty, right? The way that Black women show up for the Black community and the Black families, regardless of how we feel about the Black men that we might be interacting with, or the Black men that are doing bad things, while still staying here to cultivate the Black men who are, is, I mean, to overlook that to me is just dishonest. The idea that a lot of you all were raised by grandma them and auntie them and all of these amazing Black women that are in community and share space with you and share space with your children, that's being looked over. But also, this isn't, Dr. Umar, you're right. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that you said, but you're absolutely right. It's not about the idea of who's doing it better or the pissing match of the oppression Olympus amongst Black people, but it's really about working together. The problem is, what I find in working together is that the Black man wants to lead, whether he's acquired the gumption and the knowledge to be able to do so appropriately and effectively or not. The thing about it is, when you're working together, we are a team. You get to lead this portion because you're better at it. I get to lead that portion because I'm better at it, and then we come to a common ground for both of us to succeed. But a lot of the times when we're talking about these succession plans and we're making all of these advocacy movements in order to progress the Black family, the Black man says, listen to me or fail. Right? As if Black women have nothing to contribute to that. And I think that that's where the problem is. That's where the discourse needs to happen, is how do we work together so that Black men understand that we are meant to work side by side, and not with me following you with my head down and saying, yes, that's our master. Because that is me being subservient to you in a way that I might not want to do, especially considering if you do not have the credentials, the know-how, the wherewithal, or the lived experiences to lead me in a way that I might be better suited to do in this point of our journey.
Now, while she wants to hold Black men to the fire, as far as what we're not doing, which I won't even give an argument against it because a lot of it is true. She talks about these Black women and these wonderful Black women who show up in the communities that they're from, and these wonderful Black women that Black men are interacting with. Well, Giselle, what are your statistics discussing these wonderful Black women? Because see, you fail to realize that these particular wonderful Black women, despite being the most educated ones, lead the country and the highest eviction rates in the United States. Don't believe me? Let's play a clip of that.
Housing security in the U.S. since the pandemic is on track to become a crisis, and Black women are being affected the most by it. According to Eviction Lab, there were more than 434,000 evictions last year. So for some context to this, the eviction moratorium was in place for a large portion of the year, but the number of renters at risk of eviction as of January spiked to about 3 million and counting. And of those, Black women have the highest average of eviction filed against them at 6.2%, compared to white women at 3.4%. Now, that equates to 1 in 4 Black renters living in a place where Black eviction filing rates were almost double than that of their white counterparts.
All right. So since that is the key, and since Black women have so much to lead in the Black community, and they don't want to be led by Black men, you talk about who's competent and who's not, and you don't want really leadership, but you're looking for partnership, which no other community is run like that. Fine. Then let's talk about female-led households in America. Let's talk about Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Oakland, Birmingham, Mobile, Atlanta. So do you guys get the hint here? See, every city in America, in our country, where women are leading communities by themselves, kids are failing. The communities are failing. It's the truth. We don't want to talk about it, but it's true. Okay? And these wonderful ladies that you're talking about, you don't want to hold them accountable for the fact that the decision making for many of them has been poor. It has not been good. All right? You don't want to talk about that. Why? You want to hold the Black men accountable, while the women consistently have been making mistakes in the same communities that you say the Black men are not doing anything right. Well, then how do we get there? How do we get there? We get there because there's one-sidedness, right? And here's the situation. We got to stop asking Black women in Black America to come to the table and talk about it. It's not going to work, guys. Either Black men are going to come out with plans, start businesses, set foundational rules, bring things to a head, and those who do not want to get along with it must go. Period, point blank. You cannot come to the table and ask the women to support you. Women are going to support men when they're doing the right thing. Strong men. You'll get the support of the women. Those who are going to be on the outside will be on the outside. But guys, we got to stop having these conversations with them and just start to come together, trying to not have corruption, not cheating each other as men. Because the thing about it is, listen, no matter how much you talk to the women, they're never going to see themselves for being a part of the problem. The problem's primarily going to be is you, and they're only going to hold you accountable and never holding themselves accountable to it. So the only way that Black men can hold anybody accountable in the Black community is to be successful. That's why conversations like this are worthless. Okay? Every woman in the community is going to be amazing women, as she said, that you're interacting with. But you have so many Black men who are doing what? Trying to lead the Black community, right? Trying to go over to the SYSBM, trying to get out of the country. Why? Because obviously some of these guys don't feel like these people are so what? Are so amazing. They don't feel that way. Why is it that Black men don't feel that way? Anybody want to talk about that? That Black men don't feel that a lot of ladies are not amazing that they're interacting with? So we got to be disingenuous. Do we have women in the Black community that are amazing? Yes. Do we have women in the Black community who are not amazing? Absolutely yes. Yes. But we don't want to have serious conversations because we're having them with people who I feel are ultimately very disingenuous. the conversation will not move forward. It moves forward not with conversations, not with, let's get together and share ideas. It gets together with, hey, we're going to put the plan together and that's it. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. I'm out.